Brothers and sisters in faith, what you are about to hear may change the destiny of your soul, and of millions of souls around the world. The Blessed Virgin Mary has revealed a specific prayer, one that is neither the Rosary nor the traditional Hail Mary, but something different. According to the heavenly message, this prayer has the power to save countless souls from eternal damnation in these last days. But why now? And why this revelation in November 2025? Because time is running out, my child. The prophetic clock counts down the final hours. Beloved brothers, sisters, and souls thirsty for truth, the light of Mary, a humble yet steadfast woman devoted to God's commandments, comes to you with a trembling heart and shaking hands. What is about to be shared does not come from human invention. It is a heavenly call that echoes from the throne of the Almighty through the Immaculate Heart of Mary. If you have come this far, it is not by chance, it is divine providence. Mary has guided you to this moment, to this revelation, because your soul needs to hear it. But be warned, what you are about to learn will challenge everything you thought you knew about prayer. It will test your faith and demand your complete surrender. So now, are you ready to receive this truth? Are you willing to accept this sacred responsibility? If your answer is yes, if the fire of the Holy Spirit burns within your heart at this moment, declare your readiness and write in the comments, I am ready. Mother Mary, do it now. This simple act of prayer will awaken heavenly grace in your life as you continue listening. God sees your heart. Today, on November 15th, 2025, we stand in an unprecedented time in human history. The Virgin Mary, under the title of Mother of Salvation, has given an identical revelation to several mystic visionaries around the world, from Medjugorje to the mountains of Ecuador, from hidden shrines in Mexico to the quiet monasteries of Poland. The same message resounds about the light of Mary. My children, she says, I give you the key to salvation. A prayer that will open the gates of heaven for millions, but you must act now, for the time of mercy is ending. Before revealing this sacred prayer, this heavenly treasure reserved for these times, you must understand the magnitude of what is happening in the spiritual world at this very moment. That which has not been told to you, that which the media ignores, and that which even many religious leaders fear to mention, we are living through the most critical days humanity has ever faced. The battle is not only physical, but deeply spiritual. Stay with me until the end of this message, for here you will receive the exact prayer dictated by the Virgin Mary, word for word, along with precise instructions on how and when to pray it for the greatest effect. You will also learn the 7 prophetic signs that show time is running out, and the special protection this prayer offers against the catastrophic events to come. Finally, a revelation that can save not only your soul, but the souls of your entire family. This is not a time for distractions. Turn off the television, silence your phone, because the next few minutes may determine your eternity. And if you feel it in your heart, if this message rings true and the Holy Spirit confirms it within you, perform an act of love, click the like button, not for me, but so that this message of salvation reaches others in need. Every like is a prayer in itself, a declaration of faith that sends waves of grace through this digital space, and your guardian angel watches your response. Now, let us begin with what heaven wants you to know. In November 2025, As you listen to these words, missiles cross the night skies of the Middle East. In the command centers of 3 nuclear superpowers, generals study maps of mutual destruction, while in secret laboratories new plagues are being cultivated, whether by accident or intention. Do you think this is exaggerated? Consider this. On October 25, 2025, just 3 weeks ago, the U.S. Geological Survey recorded a 7.8 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Chile, leaving more than 3,000 dead. The media reported it for 2 days, then silence. The world moved on as if nothing had happened. On that same day, Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano released a 9-kilometer column of ash, and scientists warned of an imminent eruption threatening millions. Yet the world carried on as usual. On November 1st, only days ago, 7 nations simultaneously reported strange atmospheric phenomena, mysterious lights in the sky, unexplained sounds, and electromagnetic disturbances. But again, silence from the media. Scripture warned us there would be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and distress among nations, as written in Luke 9 verse 25. And here we are. What your eyes see now is only the shadow of the true battle. My beloved children, open your hearts now to hear what I say, for these words come from my motherly love and the deep concern I carry for each of you. Long before you were born, before the world reached this time of wars and suffering, I was already interceding for my children. Among countless prayers, one shone like a hidden treasure, given to the first Christians, those who walked in fear, persecuted and in hiding, yet always trusting in the love of God. This ancient prayer, born from tears, hope, and faith, is a powerful key that many have forgotten. Today I give it back to you so that you may find strength amid the storms now sweeping across the earth. My children, you live in an age when evil rises with cunning, seeking to confuse your hearts and to shake the faith of those called to remain firm. The world is wounded, and you feel those wounds in the wars, the disasters, the injustices, and the growing presence of evil. Yet even in the midst of these pains, I come as a mother, calling you not to fear, for those who remain under my protection will never be abandoned. I cannot prevent humanity's choices, but I can protect my children who take refuge in me, those who trust, who pray, who seek salvation even when all seems dark. This is why I come today to remind you of this prayer that has endured through centuries, that has saved lives, freed souls, and brought light to countless hearts in times of despair. The first Christians prayed it while hiding in caves, trembling for their lives, yet they felt divine peace descend upon them like a breath from heaven. It can also descend upon you now, if you receive it with faith, trust, and humility. When one of my children recites this prayer, darkness loses its power, for the light of heaven comes down and surrounds the soul with a shield that no enemy can break. My children, when you say, "We invoke your protection," you open the doors of your soul and allow me to cover you with my mantle. A mantle that is not merely symbolic, but real in the eyes of the spiritual world. When you say, "Do not despise our petitions," you give God the chance to act, for my intercession carries your plea straight to the heart of my Son. And when you pray, "Deliver us from every danger," I send, by divine will, legions of angels to guard your home, your family, and your paths, especially Saint Michael the Archangel, who fights to defend God's children from the spreading darkness. I know, my dear ones, that you are afraid. I see how wars are intensifying. I feel your anxious hearts as the troubling news multiplies. I sense your worry for your families, your children, your future. But as a mother I tell you, nothing, absolutely nothing, is stronger than divine protection when you pray with faith. The enemy tries to convince you that you are alone, that evil is winning, that hope is lost. But that is not true. You have never been alone. Heaven has always watched over you, even when all seemed hopeless. Pray this prayer each day, my children, pray with deep faith, even through tears, even through fear, even when you feel weary. When you pray, all of heaven moves around you. When the world feels too dark, whisper this prayer as a breath of hope. When evil draws near, speak these words as a shield before the darkness. When you feel weak, say them as a plea for strength. I will be there each time you speak them, just as I was with the first disciples, the martyrs, the humble, and the forgotten. As you pray, also call upon Saint Michael the Archangel, for he is the warrior of the Most High, sent to protect you when the spiritual battles grow fierce. Evil fears Saint Michael, fears his name, his sword, and his loyalty to God. The ancient prayer I give you joins the power of the one who defeated the enemy from the beginning. When you pray with devotion, heaven fights beside you. My children, I say again, do not lose heart, do not be overcome by fear. Do not let the darkness steal the faith from your hearts. Every rosary prayed brings more light into the world. Every sincere petition weakens evil. Every soul that prays becomes a living flame that no darkness can extinguish. You were chosen to live in this time, not to be crushed by it, but to shine, to stand firm, to love and bring faith amid the chaos rising around you. Pray, my children, pray the sub tuum presidium with a devoted heart, and I promise that no evil will touch those who seek refuge beneath my mantle. I walk with you, I protect your homes, I heal your wounds, I guide your steps, and I embrace you as a mother who never abandons her little ones. In the face of the evil spreading through the earth, in the darkness that seeks to confuse and weaken the spirit of my children, I call you to be strong and courageous in God. Fear not what you see, nor the shadows that cover the world. Evil makes noise, yes, but it has no power over those who remain firm in the light of the Most High. My children, I see you weary, burdened, troubled by the present, and anxious about the future. But today I tell you, rise up in God, find strength in my Son, who is your rock, your shield, your fortress. Evil tries to discourage you because it knows that each of you carries a divine flame within, one that, when lit by faith, shines even in the darkest places. Be brave, my children. Be strong, not through your own power, but through the grace God pours out upon those who seek Him with sincerity. I do not ask of you human strength, but spiritual strength, a strength born in prayer, blossoming in trust, and growing through surrender. When you pray, when you seek divine grace, when you come before God with an open heart, an unseen strength rises around you and evil is forced to retreat. The enemy cannot withstand the light that fills those who feed their souls with the grace of heaven. That is why, my children, I say, stand firm against evil. Do not let fear guide your steps. Do not allow discouragement to weigh you down. The world is in a spiritual battle, but you are not alone. All of heaven fights beside those who cry out for the protection of the Most High. When you call on me, I cover you with my mantle. When you call on Saint Michael, his sword glows in the darkness. When you call upon God, he descends with power and mercy to come to the aid of his children. Seek divine grace, my little ones. Seek it through sincere tears, through rosaries prayed with love, through quiet moments where the heart speaks louder than words. Seek it with the confidence that even as the world trembles, God stands firm, sovereign and unshakable. Seek it with humility, with courage, with perseverance. Those who seek grace find refuge. Those who surrender to God's will are made strong. Those who offer themselves to divine love find protection. As a mother, I tell you, you were called to live in this time, not to fear, but to bear witness to faith, not to retreat, but to move forward in the light, not to despair, but to become beacons that guide other hearts out of darkness. You are my children, and I carry each of you in my heart. I protect you, support you, comfort you, and strengthen you. Rise up, my children, be strong and courageous in God. Seek divine grace and allow it to transform your lives, your homes, and your paths. I am with you, united with heaven, interceding for you. Nothing can defeat those who stand firm in faith. Evil fades, grace endures. Fear falls, light rises. It is no accident that you are living in these days. It is no accident that you feel the weight of these times, or notice the shadow spreading over humanity. Everything happening now has long been known by heaven. That is why I come with urgency and tenderness, to call you to a strength that does not come from the flesh or emotions, but from the living grace God wishes to pour out upon his children. My children, evil has risen like a storm, seeking to frighten, confuse, and weaken. But evil grows large only in the eyes of those who have forgotten the greatness of God. So I tell you, lift your eyes. Look to heaven, to the light that never fades, to the outstretched hand of my Son, who never abandons those who call to him in faith. Do not allow darkness to take hold of your thoughts. I see you, I listen to you, I protect you, I cover you with my mantle when the battle draws near. You face nothing alone. Be strong and brave, not with pride, but with the courage of the humble, of those who, even trembling, kneel before God and say, Lord, I trust you. This trust moves spiritual mountains. This trust opens paths where there are none. This trust closes the doors to the enemy and opens windows to grace. The strength I ask of you is not the strength of the world, but the strength that comes from sincere prayer, the strength of a heart that surrenders even when it does not understand, that continues to pray even when weary, that continues to believe even when everything seems to fall apart. This strength draws heaven into your life. It turns tears into blessings, storms into pathways, and trials into victories. I know many of you weep in silence, feel small amid the chaos, worry for your homes, your children, your future. But I tell you, no evil can overcome those who take refuge in the heart of God. The enemy may attempt to frighten you, but he cannot touch the soul that belongs to the Almighty. The darkness may roar, but it cannot conquer the light shining in a faithful heart. So, my children, let us seek divine grace together. Seek it as one thirsts for water in the desert. Seek it as one searches for shelter in the storm. Seek it with the certainty that God never abandons those who call upon Him. The grace of God is like a river that never runs dry, and all who immerse themselves in it find new strength, new courage, new hope. Seek grace by praying the Rosary with devotion. Each Hail Mary is a flame that lights the night. Seek grace by invoking Saint Michael the Archangel, for he stands beside all who fight against the unseen forces that threaten faith. Seek grace by remaining steadfast, even when the world tells you to give up. Seek it with an open heart, with longing spirit, with certainty that heaven is near, so very near, to those who devote themselves to the light. My children, you were chosen for this time, not to be defeated, but to be spiritual conquerors. Each of you has a mission. Some bring light to their homes, others to their families, and others to souls they may never meet. When you remain firm in faith, many around you also find strength. When you kneel to pray, heaven itself is moved. When you say, "Yes, Mother, I trust," I spread my mantle over you and send angels to surround you. I ask you, my children, do not lose heart. Do not let the voice of fear be louder than the voice of faith. The enemy whispers doubt, God inspires courage. Evil seeks to bring terror, I bring you comfort. The world trembles, but heaven remains unshaken. You are not alone, not for a single moment. Every sigh of prayer reaches me. Every tear you shed is gathered in my heart. Every plea for protection I place before the feet of my Son. Let us be strong together, my children. Let us be brave. Let us walk forward with courage, knowing that evil has no power over those who belong to the light. Seek divine grace each day, with every step, every breath, every decision. I promise you, whoever walks beneath my mantle will never be defeated. Whoever trusts in God will never be abandoned. Whoever asks for grace will always be heard. My beloved children, draw close once more to my heart, and listen carefully to what I come to say. Pray, my children. Pray with faith, with surrender, with true trust. For every time you kneel before God, every time you lift your heart in humility and love, heaven bends down to listen. Nothing is too small for God. Nothing is insignificant to the Almighty when one of His children cries for help. I tell you as a mother, when you kneel, God moves mountains for you. What seems impossible to you is but a breath to Him. What looks like an unbreakable wall is like dust carried by the wind. You see the weight of your troubles, but God sees the whole plan. You see the pain of today, but He sees the victory that tomorrow will bring. When you kneel in prayer, you open the door for Him to act powerfully in your life. Pray, my children, and believe. Believe with all your heart, with no doubt, no fear. Evil tries to deceive you, tries to make you think that prayer is weak, that nothing changes, that God does not hear you. But that is the greatest lie of the enemy. Evil fears prayer, it trembles when you kneel, it withdraws when you say, Lord, I trust you. For when you pray, light descends from heaven, and wherever that light appears, darkness must retreat. My children, no prayer is ever lost, not even those spoken through tears, discouragement, or fear. Sometimes you do not see the answer right away, but it is already being prepared. Sometimes you do not recognize the miracle, but it has begun to blossom in silence. When you pray, God sends His angels around you. I myself spread my mantle to cover those who seek divine protection. And Saint Michael, the warrior of the Most High, raises his sword whenever a child of God cries out for deliverance. Believe me, my children, when you kneel, all of heaven is stirred. God shields you from unseen dangers, frees you from evil both visible and hidden, guards your homes, your children, and your paths. He turns tears into strength, falls into new beginnings, and trials into testimonies. That is why I ask you with all my motherly love, never stop praying. Pray when your heart is at peace, and pray even more when you are in the storm. Pray when the day is bright, and pray when the night seems dark. Pray when everything goes well, and pray when everything falls apart. Because prayer does not only change what surrounds you, it transforms you. It strengthens, enlightens, purifies, protects, and renews. I am with you, my children. Every prayer you raise reaches my heart, and I myself present it to my Son. When you kneel, I kneel with you. When you ask for protection, I cover you with my mantle. When you ask for deliverance, I send angels to walk beside you. Fear not the darkness, nor the shadows, for God is stronger than any evil, and prayer is the bridge that unites you to His power. Today I come with holy insistence, with the urgency of a mother who sees her children surrounded by visible and invisible dangers, yet knows that none will be defeated if they remain steadfast in prayer. And so I repeat again and again, until these words are written upon your very souls. Pray, my children. Pray and believe in the power that flows from heaven when a child kneels before God. You cannot imagine what happens in the spiritual world when one of you bends a knee. The earth may not tremble, but hell does. The mountains of this world may not move, but the mountains of the Spirit begin to crumble. Battles you will never see with your eyes are won when you kneel with faith, even with a broken heart, even with tears streaming down your cheeks, even when your prayer is no more than a whisper, Lord, help me. My children, understand this, there is no small plea before God. At times you may think He is distant, busy with greater matters, but God is never deaf to the tears of His children. The enemy tries to convince you that God does not answer, so that you stop praying, lower your head, and lose strength. But I come to tell you, do not be deceived by this lie. The more evil tries to weaken you, the stronger your prayer must become. The more the enemy surrounds you, the deeper you must sink into the heart of the Most High. I assure you, my children, when you kneel, divine light descends upon you like a living mantle. Often you do not see it or feel it, yet it is there, wrapping your shoulders, guarding your mind, strengthening your spirit. When the forces of darkness attempt to approach, this light keeps them from touching what belongs to God. You cannot see it, but I can. You may not perceive it, but I know it. I intercede, I cover, I protect. The prayer you offer, even when weary and fragile, has the power to dismantle the traps that the enemy has long prepared. It can close doors leading to danger and open others leading to peace. It can restore what seemed beyond repair and bring calm where there was anguish. Nothing is impossible for God when a child kneels and places their pain, fears, and hopes into His hands. Pray, my children. Pray with trust. Pray believing that heaven acts. Pray knowing that every Hail Mary spoken with love becomes a flame that pierces the darkness. Pray the rosary with patience, even when your mind wanders through each mystery. Prayer draws angels close around you. Pray before sleep, and the night will guard you. Pray at dawn, and the day will shine with light. Pray when fear surrounds you, and courage will descend like pure water upon your soul. Believe me, my children, God not only moves mountains for you, He removes dangers you do not even perceive. He closes paths that would lead to ruin, and He opens doors that lead to grace. He diverts attacks, confuses the enemy, strengthens weak hearts, and heals wounds buried for years. When you pray, God acts, and I, your mother, pray beside you. I gather your words, even the smallest and most fragile ones, and offer them tenderly into the hands of my Son. And when you say, Mother, protect me, I stretch out my mantle over you and say to heaven, these are my children, guard them. And heaven responds. So, my children, never abandon prayer. Never stop kneeling. Never let evil persuade you to give up. Every time you kneel, God rises. Every time you cry out, heaven draws near. Every time you lay down your worries, peace enters your heart. And every time you say, Lord, I trust you, an entire battle is won around you. My children, in the midst of growing evil and the shadows that attempt to cover humanity, I tell you with all the truth of my love, we must be stronger and braver in God. This is not a time for fear. This is not a time for discouragement. This is not a time to surrender to what your eyes see. It is a time for living faith, faith that burns, faith that stands firm even when the winds howl. Evil wants you to believe you are weak, that you will not endure, that the world is lost. But I tell you, you are stronger than evil when you belong to God. When you take refuge in Him, when you surrender in prayer, when you kneel and cry out for His mercy, you become soldiers of light, clothed with courage that does not come from earth, but descends from heaven itself. My children, the prayer I have taught and reminded you of, the prayer many have forgotten, but heaven has never stopped hearing, is a living shield. It guards, protects, and saves. It forms a barrier of light around the hearts of those who pray with true faith. When you pray, the enemy retreats. When you pray, the angels draw close. When you pray, God sends strength to sustain you at every step. And so I ask you with motherly insistence, be brave, my children. Do not step back. Do not let darkness take hold of your thoughts. Do not allow fear to silence the voice of faith within you. The prayer I give you is not merely words, it is a spiritual weapon, a safe refuge, a bridge that joins the human heart with the infinite strength of God. When you speak this prayer, you place yourselves beneath my protection, and I cover you with my mantle. You step into the light, and evil cannot cross that light. You call upon heaven, and heaven comes to meet you. Every word spoken with love and trust opens a door through which God pours out His grace upon you. Therefore, my children, let us be strong together. Let us be courageous in the face of the storm. Let us confront evil, not with violence, but with faith, not with despair, but with prayer, not with fear, but with the certainty that God protects His own. I tell you as a mother, this prayer saves lives, saves souls, saves families. It preserved the early Christians, and it will also protect you. Divine grace never comes late, never fails, and never abandons a heart that trusts. My children, when you pray, when you kneel, when you place your burdens and battles into the hands of the Father, heaven moves on your behalf. You cannot see it, but I can. You may not know it, but I watch over you. With every Hail Mary that rises from the heart, a protective flame is kindled above your home. With every sincere prayer, a wall of light is raised between you and the darkness that seeks to consume the world. I tell you in the truth that comes from God, the prayer that flows from the heart is stronger than any power of evil. It disarms darkness, silences the enemy, and opens paths where before there was only fear. Be brave, my children. Stand firm. Evil tries to weaken your faith by whispering that prayer is useless, that heaven is silent. But I, your mother, tell you, never. Never does heaven remain silent before the cry of a child. The silence you think you hear is the moment when God works deeply, touching what you cannot yet see. Do not be deceived by the storms that rise. Every storm passes, but the grace of God remains. Pray the Rosary with faith, my children. The Rosary is a shield of light placed into your hands, an instrument given by heaven itself for the darkest days. When you pray, you do not fight alone. You fight with me, wrapped beneath my mantle. And when you call upon Saint Michael, Prince of the heavenly armies, he descends with his flaming sword to open paths of deliverance, to guard your homes, to protect your families, and to drive back the forces of darkness that press forward. Do not fear, my children. I cover you with my mantle. I guide you by the hand. I protect you from the evils you see and those you cannot perceive. But to be protected even more, I ask you, pray, strengthen yourselves, and remain firm in the heart of my Son. Evil will never be greater than God. No one who walks beneath the light of heaven will ever be abandoned. I am with you in every battle, in every tear, in every sleepless night, and in every morning when your heart feels weary. I lift you up, I embrace you, and I lead you onward. Be strong, my children. Open your hearts to divine grace. I am beside each one of you when you kneel and say, Mother, protect me. I am with you when you call upon God, even when you lack the words. Heaven does not ask for perfect prayers, it asks for sincere hearts. The strength you need does not come from grand speeches, but from small gestures made with faith, the sign of the cross upon waking, a quiet Hail Mary whispered in the night, a humble plea to Saint Michael to guard your doors and your families. My children, your heartfelt prayer tears down barriers you could never imagine. When you cry out to God, the angels move, darkness retreats, and your path fills with light. Even if your eyes do not see it, the spiritual world transforms. Never think that prayer is not enough. To pray is to lift the sword of light against evil. To pray is to raise walls of protection around your home. To pray is to let God enter where your strength can go no further. Be strong, my children. Be courageous. Do not fear evil, for evil trembles before those who belong to heaven. The courage God asks of you is not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep trusting even when everything seems uncertain. I walk ahead of you, breaking the chains that try to bind you. I walk beside you, strengthening your faith. I walk behind you, shielding you from attacks you may never perceive. Call upon Saint Michael with confidence. He is the warrior God has sent for these times. His shield never fails, his sword never fades, and his watch is faithful over those who seek protection. When evil rises, Saint Michael advances. When the night seems long, he lights lamps you cannot yet see.